All right, everybody, welcome to a special edition of Mirrly on Time. Watchu talking about Mirrly. We are running into some technical issues already with one of my guests not able to join the link. I do apologize for others that might be experiencing the same issue. Travis, I hope that you're able to join here in a moment. I'm just checking. Not a watch snob, you were there. You were there, it just said device not connected. So at any rate, today I am joined right now by my good friend Andre, and he is a long-time loyal subscriber to the channel. Comments on most of my videos. We've dialogued back and forth by email. We've had another conversation like this. So let's just begin. Andre, why don't you introduce yourself to folks and tell them where you're coming from.
Hey everyone. So first of all, thanks a lot, Chris, for having me. And yeah, I feel a bit weird because I'm just a dude, right?
Yeah,
And
just
you
one
guys
second,
are
Andre. Travis, I see you. I'll let you in just a moment, but you're there. All right. So
right.
go ahead. So go ahead, Andre.
Yeah. So thanks for having me. And yeah, I'm in the company of people that actually do content on watches. I just enjoy watching content about watches.
Yeah.
um, yeah. Yeah, what can I say? I'm a bit less now, but I would consider myself a very small watch collector.
Right. Yeah.
And I've been checking out your content for quite a while. I guess almost maybe a few months since you started your channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Right near the
And
beginning. Yeah.
right now it's more or less, I would say, probably the only channel I check like every day
Oh,
to see if
wow.
there's anything new popping up.
Oh, thanks, pal. Now I'm verklempt. And tell the folks where you're from. Where are you coming from? Like,
Well,
where are you located?
Originally, I'm Romanian, so I'm Romanian national. But right now, I'm in Germany,
Ah,
in in Bavaria, in a small city. Well, not very small, but like a reasonably sized city in Bavaria. I work at uni. I'm a postdoc in doing research in math and doing some teaching.
awesome. And wrist check. What are you wearing today? I think I know.
The same thing I've been wearing for 2 years.
Yeah, the
Steve
Speedy. All right, and I'll give you two guesses, and only two because the watch I'm wearing is particularly.
I already saw it, Chris.
Oh, you did. So yeah,
Yeah.
the Belova Lunar Pilot. I was trying to hide it from you. Okay, so the topic today, and we're going to get our content creators that are here in just a moment, is Homage watches and their place in watch collecting, and it's kind of a follow-up from a video that I did on why YouTubers or content creators use Aliexpress, and I want to read your response to the video because you make some really good points, and I've really started to rethink some things in regards to Homage watches, and so this is what you said. New creators that want to make a living on the platform are bottlenecked into doing videos about inexpensive and available pieces just to have a constant output of content, and the added benefit of getting a somewhat decent revenue stream from affiliate links sure helps. Inherently, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with getting paid for investing time and energy into doing something, even if it's a hobby. The real issue, and this is where we get into the homage conversation, that this naturally leads to a warped narrative that the vast majority of creators support, namely that creating a product that checks a list of boxes as inexpensively as possible is somehow not just an okay pursuit, but something laudable, something that should be the standard by which all products should be measured. Originality and a history of research and development on a purpose-oriented design are not only secondary by a large margin, but that shamelessly copying designs is not only not frowned upon, but encouraged. And then you went on to say, let's see here, copying something viewed as exclusive as inexpensively as possible, while of course retaining as much as legally possible of the iconic design, has shifted from being something taboo to almost being seen as a laudable endeavor. This is not just a thing for watches, of course. And so My question then to you, Andre, and I'm going to bring in my other content creators right now. And so let me just jump on over so I can let them in. David Schwartz, here he is from the channel David Schwartz. And my man, Travis, in his car from Trap Vision 3D. Bill, keep trying. I did see you in here last time, obviously with some technical issues. Would love for you to join if you can. So the question, gentlemen, and I'll get Andre to go first, and then you guys can chime in. How far is, or sorry, that's the second question. What do you think of Homage watches, Andre? And in particular, what is their proper place in watch collecting?
Well, okay, so maybe I should preface this by saying two things.
Yeah.
First
sure.
of all, I don't think there's like any sort of, I mean, watch collecting or anything that essentially relates to aesthetic preferences does not have a right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no objective, correct way of doing things. People should just do what they want to do, right? This is a hobby. There's like no, in some sense, having a bunch of watches is crazy, right? I mean, it serves no practical purpose in a lot of ways, especially nowadays. But this is something we do because we like looking at them, we like thinking about them, we like exploring them, their history, their movements, their whatever, right? So I want to preface this by saying that what I'm saying is exclusively a subjective and demonstrably non-objective viewpoint.
Sure.
Okay?
Yep.
Now, after having said that, I would also say that yeah, perfect. Yeah, I was going to say that I think there's some feedback.
Yeah, I just muted you until you chime in there, Travis, because of the background noise as you're driving there. So you're still with us though.
Okay, so concerning homages in general, I would like to say that, in my opinion, there's one thing that people should address before anything else. And in my opinion, this is the fact that the term homage for what we're actually talking about is a misnomer. If you look at the origin of the word or what the word actually means, it's essentially like a eulogy or paying tribute to something, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, that means taking something that everyone loves and putting a personal twist to it.
Okay.
Right? To somehow emphasize the idea that was already there, but with your own personal spin on it. Right?
Yeah.
So this is what a homage means, in my opinion. And what we're talking about by this definition is not really a homage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, if I was to make like some sort of art-related comparisons, for me, a homage is basically like a remix of a song. Okay? Whereas what we're seeing in terms of like a lot of watches, which are called homages, are more like you take this piece of literature, like this 500-page book, and you condense it to something that contains, let's say, 80 or 90% of the ideas into like a short survey of the book that's like 10 pages long.
Okay.
And I just don't feel that these are the same concept, right? So in my opinion, the term homage is slightly misused.
Okay. Point taken.
Right.
I like that. Okay. So David, what about you? What do you think about homage watches, generally speaking, and their place in watch collecting? What's your take on it?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here.
And Andre, really nice to meet you as well. And Travis, good to meet you on screen as well. Real quick, I'm going to say everyone needs to go down in those comments, like say what's up in the if you're in the live stream, and like this video. And make sure you share it too, so you don't have to send the link anywhere. But here's a little algorithm hack: if you copy the share link, it's just the same as if you sent it to a million people. So always copy the share links on these videos. But yeah, anyways, so my channel started with Homage watch reviews. That's like where the whole thing kicked off.
Yep.
And I agree. I think that here's the thing, like it costs zero money to have passion. It doesn't cost anything to be enthusiastic and to have a knowledge about these watches, these iconic timepieces, right? But it takes money to physically own them. And I feel like the homages or the copies, the rip-offs, the knockoffs, obviously we don't want to delve into counterfeits because that's using the branding, right, in a non honest way. But people want that, and I feel like these homages, these companies are offering a physical, tangible, like, ability to get that experience in some way. And I would even argue to say that there are those that are like slightly tweaked, pretty close, take a lot of design elements, but that's not what people want. Realistically, like, the people want the Submariner that looks like a Submariner, or the Speedy that looks like the Speedy, you know, which you guys are wearing your moon watch and, and the lunar pilot. So awesome. Pretty cool. I don't have either of those, so I'm feeling a little left out, but I have a lot of homages now. At one point I had like over 40 of them in my collection. And once I bought my first luxury watch, that really kind of opened my eyes to, one, it's attainable. And granted, this isn't to say the case for everyone. I get that. Like, this is completely, you know, a hobby. And now owning multiples of them it's gotten really out of control. So it's just, but it gives people, I feel like it gives people a way to enjoy that iconic watch or watches for an affordable price point.
Yeah. All right. And my man, Travis, we've got you mic'd up now. Same question. Your thoughts?
So for me, the Homage watches, man, and it really took me back to when I started buying Homage pieces, and it was fun to collect because they were almost a direct copy to a watch that I couldn't obtain at one point, right? But here's the deal: as you grow as the
Oh, we're having. Are you
sorry
there?
Sorry about that.
Yep, you're still with us.
I'm here.
Yep, you're still with us.
I think I hit a dead zone or something. But what I was saying is, when it comes to, like, as I learn more about the watches, like it was said earlier, there's no research and development in this. There's no historical value, right? And if you dive into some history of some of these watch companies, man, like Tissot, a father and son thing, you know, it's an interesting story. There's nothing to a Homage piece, right? So, like, Pagani design. I would just grab a watch. It's $110 or $85.
You watch your mouth about Pagani design.
But you can't talk, like, if you were in a room full of enthusiasts, right, or just watch collectors, and people like asking questions like, oh, you have on that Tissot whatever, or you have on that Breitling this. I have a watch. Because I have 4 Pagani designs in my collection. Hey, bro, what you got on? Oh, I got this Pagani design. It's supposed to be a Rolex, but it's a Pagani. And yeah, it was $85. It's as far as I could go with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, like, I'm gonna be embarrassed, like, because I've been to these events, bro. I was just at one last night, and I don't want to be that guy in the room that I can't tell you a story about this watch. Like, I got it on the Aliexpress sale, bro. My man Chris sent me this link, and I went and bought this watch.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, like my take originally, now I first started getting into Aliexpress watches because of Jody, which likely everyone did, right? Just one more watch. And I wasn't particularly concerned with the fact that what I was buying looked like a Rolex or an Omega or whatever. It was just a cheap watch. Like, that's all. A decently made watch that was inexpensive. And I've pretty much kind of always felt that way. So one commenter on the video I did about AliExpress watches says, the only reason you're buying it's because it looks like a Rolex and you can't afford one. And I'm like, dude, you don't know me. Like, number one, yes, I can't afford a Rolex, but I'm buying it because it's inexpensive and it's a nice watch. And that's purely what it is for me. but I'm starting to get an understanding. And Andre, I'll share the link to the video that you sent to me via email. This guy that breaks down why an Omega is $6,000 and why Swatch Group, and breaks down kind of their research and development and all of those costs associated with their watches, and why some of them are actually priced the way that they are.
Sorry, can I interrupt you for a second, Chris?
Yeah.
So I want to shout out the channel. I think it's This Watch That Watch.
This Watch That Watch. Yeah, great channel.
And I think it's a very interesting channel. Very interesting channel.
Yeah. And so, you know, I have started to evolve somewhat in my, and here's part of the thing. I'll show you guys a watch that I just got. Collaboration. Welly Merck reached out to me and wanted me to do a watch, and I said, sure, you know, I'd love to do the watch for you. And when I got this watch, I went, okay, this handset looks like Christopher Ward. And then I remember watching James. Shout out to Watching James if you're watching. He was going to try and join, but he works early this morning, and it's 12 hours ahead of us right now, where he's at in Australia. Anyway, I remember him. He had one. I don't know what the Welly Merck was called, but it was clearly a C1 Moonglow homage. And so I got I got this one. I'll put it up to the camera.
But is this an exact homage of something?
This is, yeah. So I looked at the hands and went Christopher Ward, and then I went, okay, Moonglow. James had a Moonglow, so I looked up. This is a military watch. This is actually almost an exact replica of a C60 Limpstone, is what the is called.
Okay, yeah, it's one of the new.
The only difference between, there's some subtle differences. Obviously, the dial isn't exactly the same. There's a date window on this. There isn't one on the Christopher Ward. And so far as I could tell on the Christopher Ward site, they offer this in like a PVD coated black, all black. So there's no stainless steel version, but it is essentially exactly the same watch. And I thought to myself, like, okay, Christopher Ward isn't that unreachable. I mean, I bought a Christopher Ward. So why anyone would want to homage a $1,700, and that's Canadian dollars, C60 Limpstone, it's going to be one of my gripes in the review. It's just kind of odd to me, like, if you're going to go the homage route, why go for one that's really attainable, really, for almost anyone that can scrimp and save a little bit? So,
Chris, have you seen the homages of the F91W?
Yes. Yeah. The Scheme.
What? So I got a question. That homage piece, how much was that one?
This particular one right now, I believe, is on the Welly Merck website. So they're not linking to Aliexpress, at least for this product. They want me to highlight their website. And if I remember correctly, it's around $160, and this is Canadian dollars, I think. Around so maybe 100.
That right there is going to answer part of your question, bro. Because $1,700 Canadian dollars, people like some people like it just based on what I've experienced and what I've talked about with collectors in the past.
Yep.
People will dive into buying that homage piece for that cost because it's not the $1,000 mark, you know. And we discussed that. It appears that a lot of companies are actually going up in price. Just saw Seiko's going up in price. I talked to some guys yesterday. Their prices are adjusting. You know, what was that? Formex just came out with their GMT, and that thing is like about the same price as a Tudor. So there's some people that's being priced out. But I'll tell you, you guys, if you don't know, I've collected Invicta since 2014.
Yeah.
And Invicta literally made a homage to one of Seiko's watches, and in that case, I said, wait a minute, why would you? And the Invicta version was $150, and the Seiko version, I'm like on discount $225.
Right.
Why? That right there makes no sense. And as much as I listen, anybody that knows me know that, hey, I've collected Invicta for a while. I like Invicta. They have some offerings that I love, right? But when I see them homage a piece from Seiko or a company that's like $200 to $300, maybe $5.25 in some cases, but there's always discounts. That one right there, I'm like, why would you buy the Homage piece? I mean, just to save a few $100, or maybe $75 at best. You know, I'm like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
But I think there are people that, I mean, Invicta is a different beast to a Homage, to an Aliexpress one, right? Because there are people that actually would prefer having the same watch with the Invicta brand on it. Even if it doesn't save them any money, right? There are people that almost exclusively collect Invictas, for instance.
Yep.
And I think for that niche of the market, having something like this might make some sense.
Yeah. And I want to jump in and just say, those of you that are watching live, thank you. I don't know how to put comments up, but I will be checking the comments in just a moment. But chime in with your opinions on what you think of Homage watches and what their place is in watch collecting. I want to read something that was a response from Watchwit, and I think this is certainly a reason why Homage watches have a place in watch collecting. And he wrote, very interestingly, I hope somebody brings up the unintended consequence of Homage watches creating fans of the original watch. Perfect example. I was never attracted to the Omega Speedmaster. Plug your ears, Andre. How could he not be attracted to it, right? I was never attracted to the Omega Speedmaster until I had the Picanni Design PD 1701 version 3 in hand. Now, amazingly, the Speedy looks beautiful to me, and I'd really like to own one someday. So they can be a sort of a gateway drug, if you will. I think that's reasonable.
I think this is a lot of the reason why a lot of big brands don't really do anything to stamp out any sort of legally make any attempts at like suing companies or something like this in general.
Yeah, and as far as I know, and maybe David or Trap, you can chime in. I think that those watch companies, Rolex, Omega, or whatever, with regards to research and development and all of that, if you add legal fees for them fighting all of these other subpar brands, it would drive their prices up. And my understanding is that to trademark the name Rolex or the name Oyster Perpetual or the name whatever is far cheaper than to actually say this is my design. And you can't have my design. It's a whole lot more expensive for them to try and market or whatever you want to say. Hold on to a design, and that would drive the price of the watch up even further, perhaps.
It's also probably very much a legal, like whack-a-mole. You take one Chinese company, and then they're just gonna prop up 5 more. I mean, the names they come up with on these companies alone, like, are really entertaining, but yeah.
Some of them for sure are, yeah.
But beyond the legal aspect of it, or just how like nonsensical financially it would be to go after everyone that tries to copy your product in some way or another, I honestly think there is some real benefit to the big brands from having homages of their watches. Just like you said, I think this is, in some sense, from a business perspective, I think a lot of the big companies don't mind this.
Yeah. Well, and I think the whole Moon Swatch thing, even though Swatch group of companies, Omega's in Swatch, yeah?
Yes.
So even them in that ploy with the with Swatch there, with the Moon Swatch, it got so much talk generated about the Omega brand. I think Omega won out in that more than Swatch did.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say imitation's the highest form of flattery, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think it's the counterfeiting for sure. I would assume they go after that way more, because that has a direct impact to their brand and their brand owners. I'm sure there's nothing worse than buying a fake anything, but especially a $10,000 watch.
So now here's the question then, because most people will absolutely agree with that. But most people would say a Homage watch is a distinction without much of a difference between that viewpoint of buying a fake or buying Homage. I've actually had comments on my video about that pretty much just because you put Pagani design on it doesn't mean that you're not ripping off a Rolex. And so I guess part of the question for me then to discuss is how far is too far when it comes to Homage watches? Obviously, putting the name Rolex on is a bridge too far, right? Because then you're just offering a fake. But how far is too far? How much needs to be changed, in your opinion? How much, and we'll start with Travis, how much needs to be changed from the original in order for it to be acceptable?
Well,
what do you think?
I would say, you know, like, and I'm going to go on the avenue that has a number of homages in their collection. For example, the Daytona, they have the size, everything is just a quartz timepiece, right? And I believe back in between 2006 and 2013, they actually put out an automatic with the Edda movement that looks, I mean, it's a spitting image of the Daytona two-tone.
Wait, who did?
And I like the way Invicta do theirs because you know it's an Invicta, right? It's going to be something crazy bold on there, even though it still is paying homage to, paying respect to the original. I think there should be some type of significant difference. You know, I actually have Nomadic sent me a watch to actually test out for a little while, right? For 2 weeks. And it reminds you of an Explorer. But if you look at the dial looks like a Grand Seiko. So they took the elements of two different watches and made their own, gave it some different design cues that talks about the heritage of their company. So I think that, in my opinion, as a collector, that's very acceptable as a homage watch because it does pay, you know, like I said, it pays respect to the original design. And let's face it, regardless of regardless of like Rolex, that they may not have changed that much about the Submariner. That is one of the most copied watches across the board of multiple companies. But it just goes to show it's a timeless design, no pun intended. It's a timeless design. So I think, you know, if you can make a watch that's interesting, a different colorway, the like dial variation or something like that, or like the finishing, I think, yes, that's very acceptable. But like that one-for-one copy, I'm like, are you trying to, like, in my opinion, like, am I trying to substitute the real thing, or should I just, you know, just save up and just buy it?
Yeah. And I think one of the counters to that, and I can speak personally as far as like Rolex is concerned, I'm not buying a Rolex. I don't have that much interest in buying a Rolex because of the price. And I don't have anything, you know, negative to say about anyone who does. If you can buy a Rolex, good for you. I mean, that's fantastic. But for me, if I wanted, and again, I don't buy Aliexpress watches because they look like a Rolex. I buy them because they're cheap. It's a cheap way for me to get another watch, and it just so happens some of them, you know, a good chunk of them are Rolex homages. But I would never, for me, if I wanted the look of a Rolex, I would have no problem buying a homage watch from Aliexpress. Because I know I'll never, if I were to wait to buy one, it's just, for me, my lifestyle, you know, my wife would have a whole lot to say if I spent $15,000 on a Rolex and didn't take her on a great vacation or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, or fix something in the house. Like, for me, that kind of disposable income, the likelihood of me having $15,000 of disposable income that I could spend on a watch that wouldn't be better spent other places, just will not happen. And so I wouldn't have a problem buying a good homage of it. That's just my take.
Hey guys, let me interrupt. Hey Chris, let me drop down for a second and take this in so I can get out this truck, and I'll be right back. Give me 10 minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, I'll be right back up. Yep.
All right. And then, Bill, try and keep getting in if you're watching. I'm not sure what the technical issue you're having. And unfortunately, we are live, and I can't troubleshoot as as we're live, but I do want to read some of the comments on the live stream. I see Raphael is watching Philo. I have a very large collection, and I have a mix of Swiss-made luxury pieces, all kinds of mid-tier brands like Seiko, Belova, Citizen, etc. Lots of micro bands, and then lots of homages. I wear what makes me happy, regardless of what people say. I have lots of Invictas. It's what really got me into watch addiction years ago. And then he thinks homage pieces do end up bringing more people into the hobby. And so, yeah. And Mad Watch Collectors chimed in. Wow, Russ. The man himself. Russ. Wow.
You got huge channels popping in, man.
Schwartz Force is strong, he says. All the best to all. Well, thanks.
That's awesome.
Russ is wild, man. I love his channel. He's just... Oh, hey, Russ. Thanks for watching, Russ. It's so, I really am curious, Andre, what your thought is about that. How far is too far? What needs to change, as far as it being something that's, in your words, laudable, something that's praiseworthy?
Yeah, so I can answer this in a roundabout way and in a very concrete way. So let me start with the roundabout answer. For me, for something to be, as you said, or laudable, let's say, and interesting, let's say, from an aesthetic point of view, it has to be something where if I look at the product, I immediately associate it with a specific thing. So either with the brand or a specific idea. Right? And if you're making something where the only sort of identity of the product is that it looks like something else, but it's not, I'm not that interested.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? Now, this is the roundabout way of giving you an answer, right? So in my opinion, if you take even something like, I don't know, like a very simple design, let's say, I don't know, like a sun or something, right? Like not simple in the sense of like... how should I say this? Like, without too many layers, right? Like a sub is a very straightforward watch, in my opinion. At least on the surface level. I mean, okay, I'm not talking about like the finishing of the dial or stuff like this, but just on the surface level, it's a very straightforward watch. But I would say that even in some sense, I've seen some quote-unquote homages where they essentially copy everything. Of course, not the brand. But they do something interesting, at least with the dial, right? So you have like some crazy colors with the dial, like I don't know, like pastel blue or cotton pink or cotton candy pink or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't like that, but I mean, the product itself doesn't say anything to me. But at least I can appreciate that because at least there is some thought of doing something on your own, on top of an existing product, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is, in some sense, the bare minimum from my point of view. Now, if I were to give you a very concrete answer to what I consider sort of like the bare minimum of differentness, I actually own two things which I would actually call homage watches. So I actually have a San Martin that I bought like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, which is like a shrunk down version of not the Captain Willard, the other one, the model that was released right after the Captain Willard. I forget the reference number, but the Captain Willard was like 70, and the next model, which basically looks like the turtle case sound. Which was, I think, launched the next year by Seiko. So it's a turtle case. It's a bit smaller, so it's like 42 with 20 millimeter lugs. But it has a very unique dial. It has a Kanagawa wave dial.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fully loomed, and I think that's cool. I'm totally fine with that. But perhaps the best example I have of a homage that is truly a homage, in my opinion, is the Steinhardt Ocean 1, the titanium version. So this is the one that looks like the GMT. So this is the one that looks quite a bit like the Batman, but the hands are completely different, and also like the indices on the dial looks sufficiently different, in my opinion, that you cannot confuse it in any way with GMT Master 2.
Yeah.
Right. So these would be, in my opinion, sort of what's needed for me to call something a homage, and not just like a copy, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And concerning the point that you made, Chris, I think, again, there is absolutely nothing wrong with buying something that looks exactly like Rolex. Okay, maybe if it has like the logo, that's illegal. So we're not talking about that. And I think you have this perspective from the very correct point of view. You are interested in buying a quality watch, and if you want to spend as little money as possible on a materially good watch, it makes a lot of sense that the companies that can offer that quality product for not too much money are the companies that do not need to spend a lot of time and money on research and development and design.
Yeah.
So this all makes sense. And the point is, you like the watch because it's robust. It has like reliable movement in it. It looks okay, right? But you don't care. So I mean, that is totally fine. What I think is a bit suspicious is when people specifically wear this because it looks like something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? If you appreciate the watch in itself because it's a cool watch, you didn't pay a lot of money for it, you get to wear it every day and it works for you. Awesome. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So if we're talking about, sorry, maybe I should shut up for a second.
Oh, that's okay. You were just actually cutting out there a little bit.
No, I was just thinking if I want to say something more, but I'll just shut up for a second.
Oh. Taming the tongue. Okay, that's good. Any additional thoughts, Dave? I'm gonna read Russ's comment. It was good for him to join. He said, "I think a great homage watch is a watch that has been influenced by one or many other watches, but the watch has its own character," which is exactly what Andre was saying. No like-for-like copies for me unless from the same brand.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is a very important exception, and this is a very important point to make. Reissues from the same company, I think, are okay.
Yeah. Right. And that's exactly what they are. They're a reissue. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very different beast from a homage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think that we use the word homage very loosely in this watch industry specifically. As far as so your initial question, how far is too far? I think for me, it's a matter of the branding. I've run into people with fake Rolexes on, and it cracks me up in the sense of they're always these extravagant models, like extremely rare. It's like, so this guy's got a $495,000 like solid gold rainbow bezel Daytona on. Yeah. I'm like, hey man, nice. I really like your Daytona. And the guy goes, what do you mean? I was like, your watch. And he's like, oh, this is a fake. You know, I got it for $200. And he owned that it was a fake. I mean, but I was like, yeah, no, like I get it because of just where we're at and what's going on here. Like I assumed it probably, that's really cool if that had been real, you know, but he like, and it was a terrible fake once I got to see it up close. But, you know, to me, I'm like, that's just a little too far because you're trying to push it off as something that it's really not. And I've run into the people with this guy, he had on a homage of the Omega, oh gosh, now I'm going like the No Time to Die.
Okay.
So I pointed it out and I said, dude, is that the No Time to Die Bond? You know, and he's like, oh no, man, you're the only person who's ever like known what it's supposed to be, and it was an homage version. I said, that's cool. And I, you know, my thing is like, where would you like, right? Like, it doesn't bother me what you have on your wrist. And he mentioned it was an homage, and I said, that's cool. And I forget which brand it was. And, you know, I was asking him, like, how's the bracelet? Is it comfortable? Is it all titanium? And he's like, yeah, I mean, the bracelet's all right. It's not, you know, the clasp was kind of, you know, wonky, but he's like, I really like that model and that design, that reference. I said, yeah, dude, right on. And he's like, well, what do you have on your wrist? And I'm like, my 50 fathoms, you know, and so we're like nerding out on watches, and he's like, oh, no kidding, and I'm like, yeah, but it's cool, you know, and sometimes, and he might catch me wearing like the Bernie $60, $80, $100, whatever titanium Homage watch on the wrist too. It's just a timing, like what I'm wearing that day.
Yeah.
I will say one thing that I really give a pass to Homages on, or copies of, are the unobtainium ones. Like, so for example, like this, and this has sentimental value to me, but this is obviously the Alpha. It's an homage of the Paul Newman Daytona, right? Like, never gonna happen in my life, but that's cool. And this one gifted to me or in a trade with another YouTuber, so it has a lot of sentimental value to me. But if someone asked, is that a Paul Newman Daytona, I'd be like, no, it's an Alpha, you know, but it's got the chronograph hand wind, you know, Siegel ST19 movement. You can see it in the case back. Like, so there's some cool aspects to it that I really enjoy, and it has a story. So it's something that wouldn't leave my collection, even though I have lots of other nicer watches to wear, you know?
Right on. Yeah. And I know, I think that's a decent enough point. And again, it all just amounts to, you know, a person's personal preference and then personal comfort level. And here's what I mean. So I'm already going, in my mind, what am I going to wear to the Toronto Timepiece show next week?
Oh,
I'm definitely not wearing a Pagani design.
Do it.
Can you imagine? So, but it's true. It's like, you know, when you're with, you know, like watch collectors and people that have taken the time to, with respect to brands and or micro brands that are going to be at the Toronto Timepiece show. Shout out to Jason Hutton, who's organizing this whole thing, by the way. It'll be on Instagram. Maybe I'll try and throw a link in the description below. But it's next weekend. I'm going to be there. But, you know, my comfort level would be, I'd be really uncomfortable in a setting like that, wearing, as I joked, a Pagani design. And I have like, I don't know, 12 Pagani designs. I get a kick out of Russ's Mr. Pagani character on his channel. So I'm going, okay, so do I wear my Belova? Do I wear my Christopher Ward? Do I wear a Seiko? Do I wear, you know, or one of the ones I think I might actually wear is from one of my favorite micro brands in the States, Fair and Swit, who just make really unique timepieces that are fantastic. And I'm trying to evolve. I think one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up and talk about this is because I am trying to evolve as a watch enthusiast, not just a collector. You know, it's easy to collect watches, but to be an enthusiast and to know how much, you know, time, effort, research and development, thought, and design input that a company goes through in order to put something out there, even a micro brand company that's trying to put a unique timepiece out. Because I hear it all the time. Oh, I could buy a Seiko for, you know, $350, and this micro brand company is asking, you know, $500 for their timepiece. It's like, yeah, but they've spent a shitload of time and money trying to get their watch to the point where it's getting into our hands, and it's like it's not that much for a unique timepiece to ask for, in my opinion. Fair and Swit's a perfect example. Like their watches. Their automatic watch might be like, I don't know, $600 US, but you're not going to find another timepiece like it.
And it's not just that, Chris. Oh, it started raining?
Yeah, can you hear the rain? I got my laptop outside, so here we go. I'm going to get an umbrella here.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I noticed something, and initially I thought it was bird droppings. I'm not going to lie.
That probably would have been funnier, I'm going to be honest.
All right.
Like the level this guy's going to for his live stream.
Yes, dedication.
Unrivaled.
Dedication.
I don't care about my live stream. I care about my MacBook.
Fair point.
This is pretty, eh? I'm going to have to hold this like that. So, yeah, you know, I don't think that – I found it funny. There was a guy I saw in the grocery store one time, and he just had a probably a Chinese brand watch on, but it was nice looking. I'm like, hey, what are you wearing? And he went on to say how he's this partner with this brand, and how, you know, like boasting about how luxurious this watch was, not unlike, you know, some of the fashion brands that we get on about their, you know, their marketing strategies and everything. And I'm just like, you know, if he had just said, oh, this is, you know what I mean? But
what was he wearing?
So as I become more of a watch, I guess, enthusiast, I'm you know, I'm still going to be doing reviews of Aliexpress watches, because it's just a way for me to pay for the hobby itself. I got 4 watches in this week. I gladly review them, and I'll sell them on eBay. And then, you know, I've got a Citizen that I'm looking at picking up here soon. But, oh, we got Trap Vision back in the building. Here we go. Sorry, Trap. I hope you weren't waiting long.
Oh, no, you good. You good, bro. You good, man. So before I got on, I was in a meeting at so on Saturdays we give back to homeless, and we do deliveries for people with new homes and stuff like that. And I was in this meeting that went over time, and I said, hey, y'all, I have to go because I got something to do. And right before I got to my destination, there was a car accident. So when you saw me, like, I had been sitting in traffic for like 30 minutes, I was like, oh my gosh. I'm looking at the time, I said, this is not happening. I was like, man, but I finally made it, you know, to my people's house. So I was listening to what you guys were talking about on the way here, though.
Okay. And what further thoughts do you have on it? How far is too far for you, Trap, as far as a Homage watch is concerned? Like, how close or how far from the original does it have to be before you're like, I can be into this?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you how I buy my Homage, because I actually have an example of one right now. This right here is the Tudor Black Bay Homage Black Bay Pro.
Yeah,
I've actually held the original Black Bay in hand. I like it. That's why I chose this watch. It was better for me to get the San Martin version at $168 because I don't want to spend, even at a used price. That one was $3,300. I know I don't want to spend that money. So on a Black Bay, the only Black Bay that really interests me is the Black Bay Heritage, that crimson color. That one, I love that one, the original. And if I was going to get a Tudor, it would be that one, right, above all. But there are some other designs that I like. I would go with another company easy to get a Homage, and I would go through San Martin because San Martin, this watch is nice. I'm sorry, this watch is really nice, man. It's constructed well, and it comes close. But as you can see, you have like an olive green. It may not show up that well on camera, but there's an olive green, which I was military, so I was like, I love this. I would recommend this to any soldier that's being, like, I don't care what branch of service, because you don't really make a lot of money your first year being, enlisted. But at $168, at given time, it may be $130, depending on those prices. Aliexpress give these watches. You can get I think, because you sent me one. I think I've seen this watch as low as $125. So I would do that. That's how I search Homage pieces. Is basically I would get something that I know I'm not gonna get the original because my eyes is on something else, right? So, and I don't need a 1-for-1 copy. I much rather see a different colorway in that design. Me personally.
Yeah.
So that's where I would go with it. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I had someone comment on the Steel Dive I just did recently. Their homage of the Rolex Submariner, but it had like the ice blue or the whatever dial on it, sunburst dial. So it's like everything else was pretty well. The magnification Cyclops on it was horrid. I mean, it's like 4 times magnification. It's just like you look at the magnified, like, whoa, like what? Why is that even there? But the dial itself was just completely. Well, for a Submariner, you're not going to find a Submariner with that color of dial. So we're getting close to an hour. I don't want to labor on this one too long. Let me just check the live chat.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
What do micro brands that do Homage pieces? Do you guys feel that it's out of the question to purchase a Homage piece like for Maz Horology. MAZZ Horology has the Submariner design. It comes with the bracelet. It comes with a NATO strap or NATO style strap, and it comes on rubber. That watch retails for $5.99 right now. Knowing that it has a Salida 200 in it, it's a Salida 200-1. He regulates.
How is this called?
MAZZ. MAZZ.
Okay.
Maz Horology. Maz Horology.
Maz.
I seen this watch. I seen this watch in person. It has sapphire crystal. I think it's like 40, 41 millimeter Submariner Homage piece, and it has Maz. And the way it's spelled on the dial, it looks like two mountains or whatever. What do you guys think is out of the question to pay for? Would you rather go for a San Martin at between $100 and $200, or would you buy a Homage piece from a micro brand at I'm gonna say $600 and above? What's too much? Like what's a like? I'm not going there. I'm not paying that money for it.
There's two ways I would answer that. The simplest way is, and simplest in figurative and literally, I wouldn't. I'd buy a cheaper one, but you know, I look at a brand like a Canadian micro brand like Van Banner, for example, who make unique. Now, I mean, they're not really making Homage watches, but I think if a micro brand is doing something, so in your case, Trap, you know, you look at, is Maz in the States? Where are they located?
I believe they're in Detroit or something.
Okay,
they're in Michigan, I believe.
So I would much rather, you know, if we're only talking the difference between, you know, let's say $300 tops from an Aliexpress to the micro brand, I would honestly rather save up and support a local micro brand that you know, that is, you know, trying to establish themselves, because these Chinese you know, Homage watches, Aliexpress, they have a lot of the manufacturing, they have a lot of the like they just have a leg up on a lot of these other companies. They're doing some of the case finishing for micro brand companies at their factories or whatever, right? So it's like, spend a little bit more if you can, and support a local company. That's what I would do. Now,
Okay.
Yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think, Andre?
The short answer would be no to both, and in particular, especially no for a micro brand. And this is my personal opinion on micro brands. Is that micro brands fulfill a very important role and niche in like the ecosystem of the watch community, because micro brands, by their number and by the wackiness of the people that own the micro brands, right? They can take huge risks in terms of the designs that they put forward, and they can make stuff which is truly unique, right? And in my opinion, that is worth the extra money. So if you find a micro brand that has like something very unique that you're interested in, no question, go for it, buy it. And this is in terms of like voting with your money or like supporting with your money. This is where I would put my money towards.
Cool.
Right?
Cool. What are your thoughts, David?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a specific question, because what you're asking is if there was a micro brand that you could support, let's say here in the States, being a U.S. based micro brand. Granted, the price is going to be more, but if it's a direct homage of like a Sub or one of these other iconic design watches, I don't think you can justify the price difference, because you're not really going to gain that much in terms of quality or material than like one of these Chinese-based micro brands. Now, kind of what like Chris was saying, going off of those points, I personally would say no, probably because if it's a $500-$600 watch, if you save up a little bit further, now you're talking about you can get a Christopher Ward, you can get some of these other micro brands, or you can get some more established brands. Like you could get a Frederic Constant, also Swiss powered, Swiss made. You can get a glycine for $400 or $500, and now you're talking, like quality material and also Salida movement. So it's hard to justify like that brand if it's a copy of an iconic brand. Now, if it's a unique design, like what Andre was saying, it speaks to you as an enthusiast, or it's so different that you're like, hey, no one else is going to have this on the wrist. I'll drop $400 or $500, no problem, 600.
Gotcha.
But you can get into Tudor for $2,000, a pre-owned one, maybe even under $2,000. You can get into Bell and Ross for $1,800 to $2,000. So you're almost at that cusp of, hey, just a little further, you can get some real quality pieces.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
That's valid.
There's a particular I guess it's a micro brand that was out there, and I believe probably with a Salida movement, Janot. That was lauded as the best Submariner micro brand, and they have it. Obviously they went away from the Mercedes handset. But there wasn't anything to me that was like, yeah, I'll spend $1,000 on that watch to have a Submariner inspired watch. I mean, again, like you said, David, you could get into a Christopher Ward or save up some money and get something else if that's what you want to do.
Right. Especially if you spend some time reading allegations about the Gino brand, then you would definitely not want to spend any money there.
Oh, okay. I haven't really. I know they were sending some pieces out to reviewers and whatnot, and seen them, and I'm like, why spend $1,000, $1,500, whatever it was. And the other factor that I do want to mention, and this is just unique to me being a Canadian, I get hosed. I get properly hosed when I buy anything outside of Canada. So, a $3,000 United States watch is going to cost me an additional 40 to 50% on top of that to import it. With the exchange rate, which is now at, maybe 28 cents to the dollar, I have to pay 13% to the Canadian dollar value on top of that. Then the shipping and then the duty. Like I bought a watch that I really wanted, as an example, from Sangamon in Illinois. Sangamon watch make some great watches, and I bought the Tank Battalion. Now I've sold it since at a huge loss. But the Tank Battalion was like $129 US. They shipped it by DHL for 40 or 50. So now I'm paying $179 US. I get it at the border. They tax me on the Canadian equivalent of $129 US, which is, say $160. So I get taxed 13% on $160, plus a $25 processing fee for the border for DHL. I ended up spending close to $300. I might have even spent $300 or more Canadian dollars on a watch that was listed at $129 US. So it's hard for me because when you guys talk about you can get this watch for $3,000 in Canada here, I can't get a Tudor for under $5,000.
Bro, you know what it sounds like, bro? I'm gonna have to come visit you, man, and I'll just listen. We'll work it out. I'll fly in and I'll bring the watches to you.
Yeah, just give them your address or whatever.
It's probably cheaper than those taxes.
Oh, you can probably just book a hotel or something. And
yes,
or just
send it to the hotel.
Right.
Well,
Jeez.
Can you still get hosed if you try and do? Because I know there's other countries I've shipped items through where it'll be like a port in Miami or something, one of these coastal cities, and then it gets shipped to you directly. Is that still you get tapped no matter what?
No matter what, because eventually it's got to come into Canada Customs.
Oh,
and so Canada Customs. So the only way that Now Mark has done this from Long Island Watch. Other companies that want to send me a watch, like I had a company, or it wasn't a company, Ross Gallen, nice guy, brand rep for a bunch of different, watches. He wanted to send me a watch, and he sent me. It was a skeleton watch. I can't remember. It was a Swiss-made, Swiss brand, skeleton automatic.
Was this like 2 years ago?
Yeah. Mechanical.
I know the watch you're talking.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't remember what it's
Anyways, I got a notice at the via FedEx or whatever, however it was he sent, that I had $60 owing for just the import fees. So I contacted him and said, it's like, and I felt so bad because this is a guy who, he liked my channel. My channel at that time was maybe 1,500 subscribers. Like, I wasn't helping this brand doing a video. They were helping me. And it ended up costing this guy over $100 to send me the watch after shipping and whatever. So, but the only other way that I can avoid it, but most companies aren't going to do this for insurance purposes. So if I buy a $2,000 watch and I say, could you just mark it as $200 and as a review sample or something like that, they're going to be like, well, if it gets lost in shipping, they're going to get reimbursed $200 and I'm out $2,000.
Yeah.
So most companies aren't going to do that, but some of the companies that have sent me watches, I just say, when you put on the whatever package, put review sample, and that way, I won't get dinged at the border. But if I were to buy a $3,000 watch, I can't ask the company to mark it down to below a threshold where I won't pay any duty or taxes on it.
So what about pre-owned in Canada? Like the watch is already there. Are the prices are just reflective of that too?
It's mostly like if you go on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Because if you're buying new in Canada, a Tudor Black Bay that I like, and I don't know the exact model, forgive me, but it will cost me, I believe, around $5,500 plus tax. So I'm going over $6,000. So if someone is selling that on the used market, 2 years later, they're probably going to ask $4,000 for it. At which point, if I had $4,000, I might as well save up and get the new one.
Man, wow.
So yeah, I get hosed.
Yeah,
It sucks.
crazy.
It sucks being a Canuck, man.
I see that.
just
man.
just for that sort of thing, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you would benefit if they were to do a road show and, like selling it that way.
If I went to the States, the only advantage for me would be to go to the States, if I'm visiting, purchase a watch, and then kind of skip through the border. When it comes to anything to declare, just say, well, I bought a few things.
Yeah.
Wait, but do you have to declare stuff that you buy for yourself at the border?
You do. Canadians...
God.
The story just keeps getting better and better. Yes, we are allowed, and I don't know the amount, but if I were to go to the States to visit for a day, there's a certain amount that I'm allowed to purchase that's, I just go through the border. If I'm there for, a month or more, that price can go a little bit higher. So, but not like $2,000 timepiece higher, but like they can't really prove if I'm going through the border with a watch on that I didn't wear this watch to the, you know what I mean? So I would just say, we purchased something. So you have to actually have your receipts. And
wow, that's crazy.
If they want to know, they will literally pull you over and look at what you got. Like it is. But yeah, no, there's
Bro,
really.
you are the epitome of watching through. You are, bro. You are such a fan. You know what? I can't even call myself a watch enthusiast no more. For you to be in Canada and you love watches and you still trying to oh man, I you know what? Everybody that's watching, everybody on the panel, forgive me for being selfish and entitled. Chris, that's some bull crap that you gotta go through just to get Oh my gosh.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
Gosh.
But I think you unintentionally hit on an important, maybe even argument against the micro brand thing when you mentioned earlier about how you got hosed on selling that watch. And that's probably the case with a lot of micro brands, and most brands even, I would say. But like, you buy a $600 micro brand and then you can sell it for $200-$300. Like that's
well, and the reality is for most watches, that's the reality for most watches. I think like with maybe the exception of Rolex, certain models,
but,
certain models of Rolex you might be able to make a little bit of money on, but
Maybe some limited editions.
I never buy a watch and consider how much will I lose on this watch. I just don't. I buy a watch because I want to, you know, wear it. But it's still very difficult because there was, like, well, for example, Fair and Swit, their Vice Edition chronograph. That thing is super cool. But for me to buy it, I think it might be $4.99 or maybe $5.49 USD. I can't remember. But already before shipping and import and duty, I'm up close to $700 just with the currency exchange to buy that watch. So now Adam has been nice and he's given me some discounts for other watches that I bought from him, but it still makes it very, very difficult for me to because I got to add 30-40% to the cost of a US product to buy it. Yeah. So at any rate. But enough about my little whiny, you know, oh, poor me.
If we're on the complaining section,
yeah.
Let me tell you something, okay?
Yeah.
I challenge you to come to Europe, okay? Come to the EU, and try to order very niche straps for your watch.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah.
So I've ended up paying. So I bought like a strap that was nominally worth like $120 or something, and I ended up paying like almost 300 euros for it.
Oh, so you feel my pain.
So this can be ridiculous. Yes.
Yeah.
So you're not the only one paying.
Yeah.
You're not the only one.
Y'all giving me a headache, bro. This is, and you know what? It's just the love of the commitment. The commitment. I was just in an event last night. Great event. But like growing certain brands and getting accessories and stuff like that can be tedious. I've seen that the prices of things, Seiko just announced that they're going up on price and stuff. And I'm like, bro, like everybody's like sorting the prices out, right? And I said, okay, let me fall back on micro brands. But then micro brands are following suit. Like, well, you know what? Where you guys are paying $750, now the benchmark is $1,000. What are we doing? You know what? Okay. So you asked the question. This right here will make me buy Homage pieces. If I said, Martin, you get my money because I am not willing to go up. I'm still getting my Pagani. Don't get me wrong. Listen, I'm not going to rest until I get my Pagani radio mirror. That's it. But everything else, I am not fooling with these companies, man. I am not giving you any more money. I have been a loyal customer for a long time, and you reward me by, here's another. They're going up twice a year. I cannot buy the same watch. I bought the Squale, right? That thing went up twice last year.
Which model?
My watch was $825 at one point. That watch is $1,100 right now. The same watch. There's nothing different about it. It's the 1521 on the leather. It's the Squale Professional. It's nothing different. 2824. Same movement deviation time on my watch was 7 seconds fast per day. Nice beat rate. I love the watch. Crazy. It's a beautiful design. However, there's no different. That watch is sitting on the shelf and they got a price increase. That watch is $1,100 right now. It was $825 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah, it's unjustified.
And the video that Andre sent, sorry, Andre, I'll link it. This watch, that watch, who explains, you know, why luxury brands are costing them the way they do. But he says, you know, he even addresses that issue. These brands that are charging more money but not offering anything new to the product. Right. He says it's just not acceptable.
This watch, that watch. I have to check that out. David, I have to check out your channel as well.
Yeah, cool.
I was listening to you, bro. Yeah, I love the way you talk, bro. So I'm definitely going to check your channel out.
I appreciate that. No, thanks.
And Andre is just like, I don't know, man. You're like a watch collecting god or something, bro. Like I don't like the way he's so eloquent, the way he talkk, bro.
No, it's true. No, I gotta shout out Andre so he chokes on his humble pie here, okay? No, seriously. you know, as content creators, Trap, you know it, and David, you know it. There are people that, you know, are regularly following you, commenting on your videos, kind of following your journey. Andre has been that for me, but on top of that, he's just smart. He's just smart as hell when it comes to
Oh
watches.
yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
always
Oh yeah.
he
Here we go again.
always notices, like oftentimes I'll notice something, you know, whatever. But like if I do an unboxing and I'll be like, oh, I noticed it. Andre's always one's like, oh, I noticed this, and oh, what about this, what about that, or just, you know, the information that the guy just spews off on the comments might be a
That's
wrong
good for
word.
you though, bro. That's good for you,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Because like
Oh
you,
yeah.
if you miss something, you got somebody that, bro. Honestly,
Yep.
honestly, bro. Because
Yep.
I like with me, you know, I'm more of a lifestyle type of like. I'm not a watch review. I will review, I guess, if I have to. But I like to react to watches. I like to have fun. I'm more in depth with people and how they collect. So Andre will be somebody that I'll be interested in. Like, man, I just like the way I can sit and listen to this man's, like the way he talk about it. Like, oh, I didn't think about that. That's a great point, you know. So that's good having that versus. Man, they let me have it in the conversation. They're like, well, you should know this, Mr. Victor guy. I'm like, well, I don't. I said I got to research it, bro. Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah, man. Sometimes the expectation is just too high. I'm gonna check out your channel too, Trap. I would definitely subscribe and throw some support, man.
I appreciate it.
I will point something out, and this is also something that I've noticed on a lot of people that make content, like very specialized content, like watches or stuff like this. A lot of the time you get people in the comments which are just hating on you, right? Oh, what do you mean you talk about this stuff and you don't know this obscure reference or this obscure, I don't know, you don't know exactly what model the movement is or something like this. And I'm always shocked by this. It's like, the dude is out there talking about his passion, right? He's talking about his personal aesthetic views on something and what he likes to spend his time and money on. What more do you want from the guy? Does he owe you research time? Is he like what the hell?
Yeah.
And I tell you what, Chris knows he has done a few videos and I'm like, oh boy. Before I comment, I'm looking at the whole video. I'm like, ooh, I just imagine what this is going. And true enough, right? Oh my gosh! And he delivers in such a way, right? Man, when you're laughing at something, bro, your laugh is so infectious. And once you start laughing, like you can't stop until it's over with. But the thing about it is, like, I appreciate and I love the fact that you don't shy away from these things, and if you believe in it, you hit it head on. That's why I support you, man. I'm like, yo,
thanks, dude.
I really like that. I really like that because I don't too much care for. I mean, I know some of the big channels, they're accustomed. There's a saying that we had in the military: complacency kills. And I'm telling you, I don't care how big the channel is, there becomes a burnout, you know, because you see so many watches, you go to these different events, and it's like you're going through this. I gravitate to people that really show the passion, you know what I'm saying? Because I will listen to you like, okay, all right, Chris got a point there. I dig that, you know. And David, I'm pretty sure once I go check your channel out, I'm sure what I'm telling you, I'll find the exact same values and qualities there. And that's what I gravitate towards. You know, and I could base my channel around, you know what? And I always give you guys your credit. If I found something on your channel, I'm like, hey, I went over to David and checked this channel out. This is what he's talking about. Let's talk about it, right? And I'll just elaborate, you know, and stuff like that. That's how I operate.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's definitely content creation. Like, you got to have thick skin. And to me, I laugh. I see a lot of comments that just make me laugh. And I'm like, yeah, what are we doing here? You know, and every time, 100%. It's never another content creator. It's some no profile. They have no videos. They have no ambitions to do it, but they're gonna try and tell me something, and I'm just like, okay, hard to take that serious.
Yeah,
it's good stuff, man.
Yeah. Let me check over here on the comments on YouTube. And guys, I'm sorry, I'm not. This is like my first live stream in a long time.
No
And-
apologies are accepted today, bro. This
Oh, okay.
is great.
Yeah, let's
There's like 13,
let's
there's like
that's
13
fine.
people in that live stream, but I
So-
only see 6 thumbs up. So you guys need to smash that
Come on,
thumbs
hit
up
that.
button.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
yeah, do the thumbs up. Do what David says.
Come on. Help get out.
Yeah, what was that? Watch Colony says upvote, y'all. Let's upvote. Just come on, just hit that thumbs up. It ain't gonna cost you nothing.
Vic's in the building. Space G's here.
Gee.
I saw Simon earlier. Oh, watch 6-2. Hey, pal. 6-2 is in the comment section. Yeah. Very cool. Thanks, guys, for watching. Yeah. So let's see. How long have we been talking here, guys? It's, I don't know. Where is it here? An hour and 20 minutes. Hour and 20 minutes. So I think maybe we should, concluding thoughts, maybe wrap it up. But wrist check. I don't think we saw what you guys are wearing, David and Trap. What do you guys got on the wrist today? We'll start with you, Trap.
I got my Tissot
Ooh.
chronograph, PRX.
That's the chrono.
PRX chronograph.
Yeah.
Does that one have half
One of my
links on the
favorite
bracelet?
watches, bro.
It's nice.
What'd you say, bro?
It's got half links on the bracelet, like for sizing.
Yes.
Good.
Yep, got them right there.
Definite need them on that. Yeah, that's nice, man. Woo. Very
I love
nice.
this watch,
It's very nice. I remember seeing it on Instagram.
They only make an automatic version, right, of the chrono.
Yes, yep. That's all. Yep.
So got it.
This one actually was crazy. It's an A05 in this one. So they eliminated, if you can see right there, it's a quick date set on there.
Oh,
which
okay.
eliminates that chance of tearing up your watch.
Does it have a display
Yeah.
case back too, Trap? Or is it just solid case back?
Yep. No. They do. It has
have a
a
look,
display
see.
case back.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
Yep. Really nice watch, man. Robust, bro.
I like that. I love me a chronograph.
Yeah, man.
What about you, Mr. Schwartz?
So you saw earlier I was wearing the Alpha, but the rest of the day I will be rocking. So the Tudor Black Bay 41 monochrome. This was my wedding anniversary gift for 10 years on the 5.
10 years.
But,
That's
yeah,
Whoa.
thin bezel. So a little deceiving in the way it's got that vintage sub look. So technically, this would be an homage, right? Tudor homage of the Rolex, maybe. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it has the brand history. I mean, no crown guards, just that nice, robust, thick crown. Like, I'm a Tudor fanboy, man. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
So.
Now,
David,
Okay.
David, is that the standard bracelet on this model?
Yeah, so you have the option of the 3-link with the rivet, the 5-link, which is like Jubilee, and then they also have a strap, rubber strap. But the thing that sucks about it, because I was going to buy the other bracelets, I was going to get the 3-link and I was going to get the rubber strap just to swap out. But the holes on the lugs are right near the lug tips, and so you can't just put a strap, but it'll leave a nasty gap in there.
Yep.
So they have end links and then a custom fit
Nice. A
rubber
custom
strap.
Rubber
So you-
strap. Yeah.
right.
Just
so
like the Oyster Flex, right?
right, but the price on those is like, I think the end links are $50 a piece. The rubber strap was another like $500 or $600 with the clasp. Like, so you can buy each part and like, no thanks.
yeah.
Okay. So you know what? That explains something, David. When I said like the Tudor that I like, bro, your headset almost came off. He was like, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, okay,
That
so
explains everything.
I had all my watches here. So there's the 41 and then the Pelagos. So yeah.
Ooh.
And then this one is actually a JDM market only, which is the
Man, that is gorgeous.
76213 two-tone.
Absolutely
date.
gorgeous. Yeah.
That's Japan only.
Yeah, so
Okay,
Asian
so-
market. So this one came from Hong Kong.
I got a question for all of you guys. And this is not an exit watch. A watch that you don't have in your collection right now that you would love to own. What is that watch?
You got to
No
know the
price
answer.
limit?
If you watch me, you know the answer. But anyway, go ahead, Dave.
I mean, no price limit. We're saying like Super Grail or
No. There's no. What is your watch?
easy. The Lange Zeitwerk. That thing would just blows my mind.
Tell me about that. I haven't even heard of it before.
It's a digital watch but it's all mechanical. The newer version of it, they changed I think it's the balance cock, whatever the name of the part is, but they changed one of the mechanisms on it on the newer models. You need to look it up. The Zeitwerk, basically it's just a digital display, hour and minute, and then every time the second hand center seconds reaches 12 o'clock or 60 seconds, it instantly clicks over. And it just builds up enough pressure in the mechanical movement to click it every second or every minute and then every hour. It's phenomenal. It's
Cool.
it's crazy.
Wow.
Do I even want to ask how much that is?
So pre-owned, I looked because I someday would like to get one. Yeah, they're like $80K.
It's not completely bananas. It's not
No. They're like they're horology pieces. Like you're talking like a new one in precious metal, probably like 120 grand. You know.
Yeah, okay.
But still, like it's not gonna happen. Yeah.
For a digital watch?
Hey, you asked the question, all right?
I'll listen. Yes, I want to know. I love to hear.
People who shitting on Tissot for their digital watch.
What?
Oh.
So yeah. Andre, what about you, bro?
He's got it.
He already got it.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I've always wanted.
Mega Speedmaster.
So let me put it differently. I bought this watch 2 years ago.
Okay.
And since then, I've essentially stopped collecting watches, and I'm collecting straps.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm literally collecting straps, for instance.
Wow. Okay, man. Okay, you're a rare breed. I haven't found anybody that's like found Nirvana in that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me.
But
I find it very difficult to justify for myself the idea of wearing anything else.
Yeah.
There are other pieces that I would like to own, but in terms of like what I like to wear every day, I'm set.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for me, you guys got to know what it is. If you know me, you know me.
Yeah, it's like
the Breitling Navitimer.
But which one? The usual one, right? Like the standard one.
Yeah, the B101 or whatever it's called. Yeah, with the three subdials, 3, 6, and 9. Yeah.
Look at him. Look at him. He started sweating when he said that.
He sure did. Yeah.
You know,
started drooling there for a second.
And that one, brand new in Canada's, at least the last time I looked, $10,500 Canadian. Which, yeah. So I guess it'd be about $7,500 US, something like that.
And you wouldn't settle. I was gonna. You wouldn't settle for the Zen 903 ST, right? You want
Andre. Look at Andre jump out of his chair.
I have no idea how many times I had
he said that to me a lot. Yeah, right on. He is. Yeah. And the answer is, yeah, I could go for that too. Yeah, because I know that they've, essentially got the rights to the design or something like that a few years back. And
now is that particular model oil filled? No. Okay.
I think Zin doesn't make that, or maybe they make like a U50 model, maybe with that, but in general, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so it is.
Or maybe a U1, not a U50. I don't know exactly.
But yeah, I and the stupid thing about it is, I got onto Breitling from Jerry Seinfeld. Like, I always notice, I notice people when they're wearing watches, and Seinfeld's my favorite show ever, and now I'm not sure what one he had on. I don't think he actually ever wore the Navitimer per se. He had a chronomat on, he had, but on his show, he's always wearing Breitling. He had this, what's the one with the digital display, like the space one or whatever?
Yeah,
he's worn that. I've seen him wearing that on his, like, he's exclusively Breitling. So one day when I was just kind of like, getting into watches again or whatever, starting collecting, I just literally Googled what watch does Jerry Seinfeld wear on the Seinfeld series, and they said, just come back, he always wears Breitling. So okay, I look up Breitling. I've never heard of them, and that's when I saw the Navitimer. It's just. And I'd get the large one. I'd get the 46 mil one, man. I wouldn't. I'd get the big boy. So yeah. That's mine. So, closing thoughts, guys. Thanks for all of the conversation. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for taking the time out of your day, guys, to join me on this. And for all of you that are commenting in the live chat, thank you for that. I apologize, for maybe not being as engaged with the chat, but I've got guests on, so I don't apologize. So I apologize, but I don't apologize. But final thoughts about the topic of homage watches, what you recommend for watch collectors, whatever. Just anything that comes to mind. We'll start with you, David.
Okay. First off, again, thanks for having me on the show, Chris. Absolute pleasure. It was really nice to meet Andre and, of course, Trap. I will be checking out your content here shortly. So, first, thanks. I will say, look, life is short. Just enjoy whatever you can as much as you can, because all this stuff we don't get to take with us, right? So, just make the most out of all of your time, pun intended. And also, let's really, I want to say support Chris. Let's get him to 5K. I'm gonna shout your channel out later.
Thanks, buddy.
So, dude, we need to get you there. That's the next, I know, or milestone.
That's it.
Step up. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I mean,
cool.
As far as recommendations, dude, I don't know. There's
good,
there's bad in everything, right?
Yeah. Now, unless you're Kevin O'Leary, you're not going to take your watches with you. But Kevin O'Leary says he's taking his Rolexes with him. He's going to be buried with his Rolexes. What a guy.
Yeah.
All right, Trap, final word, thoughts. What do you have, man?
I'm just piggybacking off of David. This thing we do on a regular basis, the research, just buying watches, take it with a grain of salt. Everybody's not going to like what you watch on your wrist. Some people is not even paying attention. They may not even know what it is. So you have to literally do what you like. At the end of the day, if you're a Homage fan, if you don't want to buy the real thing, that's fine. I'm going to take a page out of Dave's book. Don't buy a fake. Don't contribute to the counterfeiters, man. That's an $8 billion business, and that's taken away. That doesn't contribute or do anything. But you have to enjoy life. There's no reason for you to get all bent out of shape because you don't have a particular watch. And if Homage, like I said, if that's your thing, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going Sam Martin all the way if I'm going to recommend something. Sam Martin, you can get a great finishing, nice watch. You see this right here? To all my Black Belt fans out there, shout out to Dave.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, that's great, Trap. Thanks, pal. And yeah, if for some crazy reason, those of you that are watching aren't subscribed to Trap or David, Andre doesn't have a channel. You'll have to follow him by following me and just check out his comments. You won't regret any comment from Andre. They're always informative. But please go subscribe to Trap and David. Shout out to not a watch snob Bill, who had some technical difficulties trying to get on, and to Killing Time with Norman, who was hoping to be here today, but is in Paris, the poor bastard. So enjoy your champagne over there, Norman, and get over that jet lag and enjoy your vacation. So, Andre, thank you for this conversation. Your final thoughts.
So first of all, thanks to everyone for being here, and thanks for inviting me, Chris. And I think the most important message to take home is that the first arbiter of what you wear should be you. And I can attest to the fact that literally no one gives a shit what's in your wrist. And objectively speaking, I would say that the best, in my opinion, the most important, so I have nothing personally against homages or anything. Everyone should be allowed to do whatever they want. And I think the most important point where you should really consider homages is when you aren't 100% sure what your watch tastes are like. So if you want to spend a lot of time collecting watches and thinking about watches, having the option of accumulating a few very distinct watches. so that you can form some taste and some understanding. This looks good on me. This makes sense for me. I like wearing this. I don't like this. I don't like wearing this. In my opinion, this is where Homage, or like inexpensive Homage watches that look like a very broad category, like a very specific category of watches, are very good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. I plan on doing a live video like this every once in a while with the What You Talking About Mirrly series, and I'll get better on, you know, sharing comments and all that stuff like that. Thank you to all that are kind of engaging, even as we speak, just online with one another through the YouTube chat there. And yeah, thanks for watching. Remember, whenever you leave your house, you have to have a great looking piece to wear on your wrist like this. Show them off, boys. Below the Lunar Pilot, Omega Speedmaster. I can't remember. The Tutor and the the Tutor and the Tissot chronograph. And remember, wherever you're going, guys, you need to get there on time. God bless you. We will see you in the next video. Thank you again, guys, for joining me.
All right. Take care.
Peace out.